What is up? What is up, people? Happy Sunday. Good morning. If you guys can hear me and if you guys can see me, give me a hi. Just let me know you guys can hear me and see me. And let's get this thing started. All right. Okay. Nishit, who's here? Neeraj, Spartan hai, Archit, Ajay, Migyani, Drumil, Tejas, Harsh, Kamite, Nishit Shetty, Strangel 007, Parag Chauhan, Kamiche Kechik. अबे कौन सा अभिषेक? अपना गेम टू मेका वाला अभिषेक? Right, okay. Because you have all kinds of strange usernames. Dikshit, Abhishek Dikshit. Okay, awesome. Awesome. All right, people. Good to see you guys. Let me know where you guys are from. Let me know which city you are in. Let me know a little bit about yourself, about your education. Are you studying? Are you working? Have you made any games? Tell me a little bit about yourself because I need to understand who it is that is in the audience. Okay, Drumil is from Ahmedabad. That's good. Achuta is from Bangalore. Good to see you guys. Okay. From Mumbai, working in Bangalore. Anybody working in the game industry? I am from. So Strangel is from Lucknow, learning about how to make games. Hi, Ajay. Okay, cool. So let us get started, people. Now, so what are we doing today? Today we are having a game design masterclass. Now, firstly, I hope you guys understand what exactly game design is. That's very, very important for you to understand what game design is because a lot of people are confused about what is game design, what is game programming, what is game art, what's the difference between these roles. And before you pick a role, you have to actually understand it. The biggest confusion, obviously, is because people think that making characters, making environments, creating things in Blender is game design, and it's not game design. That is game art, right? So you have to understand what is game art, what is game programming, what the different roles are, and once you've understood that, you're good to go. Oh, by the way, before I start, guys, IGDC is coming. The India Game Developer Conference is coming in November. And I would advise, if you are interested in making video games, if you're interested in having a career in games, then you should go to the India Game Developer Conference. Okay. I am one of the organizers of the India Game Developer Conference. We get a lot of uh, people from all over the world. We get designers, artists, programmers from all the big games, from big game companies all over the world. They all come, they all give talks. You'll be able to meet them. You'll be able to you'll be able to meet developers, designers, artists from like Naughty Dog, Rockstar, Diploma, Masterclass, Oh, I think you guys lost me for a minute. Can you hear me?
Yes, so we can now hear you.
Okay. Yeah, I think I just changed my internet connection. Okay. So remember, all these guys are coming. They are coming from all over the world, from all these big companies. Game designers, game artists, game programmers are coming from Naughty Dog, Ubisoft. My own friend, who is a lead technical artist for Ubisoft Toronto, is actually coming to IGDC, and he's going to come and visit the Gamer to Maker is gonna come and visit the Game to Maker event as well. Okay, so it's happening November 13th to 15th. So all of you guys, I really recommend for all of you to make sure that you come to Hyderabad and attend the India Game Developer Conference. Okay, very, very important, and it's really, really, really going. IGDC is going to be taking place in Hyderabad from November 13th to 15th. So it's a 3-day event which happens physically. You must come here. There are going to be talks from all over the world. You'll be able to build your network. There'll be companies here, game companies. You'll be able to meet people. You'll be able to actually get a chance to apply to them, understand about the game industry, see so many cool video games. And you'll be able to meet me. It'll be so nice. We have a stall. Gamer to Maker has a stall at IGDC in the expo, and you're most welcome to come and meet me and talk to me, and we can interact. So all of you guys, make sure you come to Hyderabad for the India Game Developer Conference from November 13th to 15th. Okay, now let us get started with the live stream. Today I'm going to be talking about documentation. Now, documentation is kind of boring, right? Everyone's like, yeah, documentation. Who wants to do documentation, right? People just want to start making games. So, what do normally do people? I'm sure many of you here have. How many of you guys, by the way, have made your own games? If you ever tried making a game, if you ever downloaded Unity or Unreal, with yourself or with some friends or in a team, if you ever tried to make a game, let me know about that, right? What normally people do is that they pretty much straightforward just download the software, they watch the videos and say, oh, I'm going to make this game, and the gameplay is going to be like this. They have the game ready in their head, and they just start building the game. Now, that's fine, but that's not the way it works in the game industry. So for example, I'll give you an example. Now, say suppose you want to build a house. You have a plot of land and you want to build a house for yourself to stay, for you and your family to stay. You have like 1 2 floors planned. What happens? Do you just call the construction people? Do you just call the builder and say, hey man, listen, here are some bricks, here's some cement, just start building it? Start building it, and once you start building it, I'll figure out what it is. No, you don't do that. You hire an architect, you make plans, you make a floor plan, you say, okay, here's the entrance. You even think about, some people think about vastu, some people think about so many things. You say, okay, this is how big the floor is, this is the ground floor, the bedroom is going to be here, bathroom is going to be here, kitchen is going to be here, all that kind of thing. You make plans, you make a diagram, you make pictures, you do everything first, and after you have made the plans for your house, only then you start actually building your house. Now, my question is, if you do that for your house, right, if you do all this planning and you do all this stuff for your house, why would you not do that for your game? Making a game is like really technical, right? It's not some small thing. It's a pretty technical and difficult thing. To build your game, you should also be doing planning. You should also be figuring out what you want to do. And one big part of that is documentation, game design documentation, right? Now, so what, here's the deal, right? You can get a job as a designer. You can get a job and you can keep a job on the basis of your documentation. I'm very good. One of my specialties as a designer, I can make beautiful documents, amazing documents, right? Because when it comes to making documents, I'm very systematic. I make sure the document is well written, looks good. And I have gotten and I've kept jobs on the basis of my documentation. So making documentation is amazing. So today, what we're going to do is we're going to go with the different kinds of documentation which is there in video games, and then I'm going to be telling you a little bit about each one. Okay, so now let us get started. I'm going to share my screen. One second. Okay, let us get started. If you can see my screen, if you can see game design documentation, let me know. Let's go. Okay, what exactly is game design documentation? Now, today's masterclass, we're going to be talking about the following. We're going to be talking about why it's important to create a game design document, some fundamental principles of making good game design documents. I'm going to be giving you some tips and hacks to make a concise and detailed game design document. And I'm going to be giving you do's and don'ts of making game design documents. Okay. Also, I'm going to be telling you about the different kinds of game design documentation that you will need to make in your career. Okay. So, how is a game design document born? Where does it come from? So, normally you have something called a concept document. Now, what is a concept document? A concept document, so everything starts with a concept document. Concept document is like a, think of it as a baby game design document. It's just one page, one A4 sheet with some very, very simple concepts about the game, high concept. What exactly is this game? It'll just say this is this is a 2D platformer, which is the art is in 3D, and the theme is that it's a pig that's learning to fly, whatever. And then there'll be something about the art style. It's a cartoony art style. A little bit about the mechanics. You run, you jump, you fight with enemies, etc. There'll be one line about the competitive analysis. Which other game is like this? It's like maybe Subway Surfers, or it's like, I don't know, whatever other game. And then there'll be a little bit about the monetization. This game uses ads, this game uses in-app purchase, or it's a premium game or whatever. Just a one-page documentation, which is called a concept document, right? From the concept document, usually, if you're coming up with a game idea, my recommendation is don't just make one concept document. Make three concept documents for three different games. Normally, this is what we do in Gamer to Maker. Our students actually make games from scratch. And what we do is that we make three different concept documents. And then out of all these single all of them are pitched, and one of them is chosen. It gives you some creative, it expands your creativity because you can explore more things without being attached to one single game idea. Okay, so once you've done that, then from there one is going to be chosen, and for that you're going to make a game design documentation. Okay, now, so what's the difference between a concept document and a game design document? A concept document is just one, maximum 2 pages, and game design document can be many pages, hundreds of pages, thousands of pages. Okay. Next up, a concept document just has a very, very high level description of the game, right? What it is. And the game design document is a very, very detailed document. Okay. One is used for pitching, and one is used as a guide for production. So a concept document can be used just to pitch your game, just to give a very rough idea to other team members or an investor or something like that. Whereas a game design document is a very, very detailed document, which is actually used to guide the team during production of the game. Okay, now you usually make three, but you select one. And the game design document is different because you make the game design document and then you keep on building it. Okay. Next up, why is a game design document important? Now, this is a little bit technical. So, those of you who really want to understand game design and the process of making games, please pay attention because this process is really important. In fact, if you understand this process, and if you are in an interview, if you're in an interview for a game design role, and you can just explain that you understand this to the game company, trust me, those guys are going to be really, really happy with you, and your chances of getting a job as a game designer are going to go up. If you understand this basic process just by watching this video and you talk to it, you have a good chance of getting a job. So the game designer creates the game design document. The game design document is then shared with the game programmer, game tester, and the game artist. And then everyone works on the build of the game. What is the build of the game? The build of the game is basically the build, whatever the game is in production at that point. And everyone keeps referring to the game design document, and then they keep building it. Now, the thing with the game design document is not a static thing. Okay. Now, what are the basic principles here of making game design documentation? Firstly, it's called VCDC. Remember this. Whenever you're making a game design document, remember these principles. VCDC. Firstly, make it visual. Okay. Visual means that Text is okay, but try and put a lot of pictures, try and put a lot of references, diagrams, etc. inside your game design document. Next up, make it concise. Don't bore people with long descriptions, which means that your language has to be good. You have to write, instead of writing paragraphs and paragraphs and paragraphs, write one or two sentences. Your English should be good. You don't have to be Shashi Tharoor, but your English has to be good enough to actually make sense. And if you have any doubt, these days you have AI, you can actually check your English, you can check your grammar and spelling with AI before you put it inside the document. Okay. Next up, detailed. Now, it needs to be super detailed because the simple matter is that as a designer, your job is to explain to everyone, the designers, the artists, the programmers, everybody, they will be understanding what is the game. They will be learning to build the game only from your documentation. So, all the details of the game have to be there. Everything, the controls, what the player does, what the player does not do, every single thing. So, I'm going to be, guys, soon, I'm going to be sharing some game design documents with you, which are made by the students of Game to Maker. These are actual documents which are used for making games. So I'm going to be sharing these with you, okay, as examples, so you'll understand what I mean. Next, customize. Now, remember, so a lot of people say, oh, can I have a template to make a game design document? And that's fine. So Path is asking, the concept one also has to be visually appealing like a proper GD. No, the concept document does not have any visual appeal. If you want, if you guys are interested, let me know. I'll actually share a concept document also with you guys after this. Okay. So just a brief explanation, doesn't need to have pictures, right? Now, when I say customize, it means that a lot of people say, oh, can I please have a template, and I'm going to use a template. Fine, you can use a template, but every single game design document is different because every single game is completely different. So you have to customize your game design document to the game that you're creating. And it may take a little bit more time, but I definitely recommend that you guys should make the game design document from scratch without using a template. Okay, right. Next up, make your document visual. Now, nobody likes like a huge wall of text. You know, people get bored. The human brain gets bored of just reading a huge paragraph of text. So make sure that your document is visual. So, for example, this is a mock up of the first game which I made myself. The game was called Star Trail. And this was a document that I just created this using Photoshop. Nowadays, you don't even need Photoshop. You have Canva. You can make amazing um, mock-ups in Photoshop or in Canva or whatever. And what the mock-up does is that the mock-up shows you what the game screen is going to look like. Okay? Because as a designer, you have to explain to the programmers, explain to the artist what exactly is in the game, how the game screen looks, and for them, it's very very useful to have this. Yeah, Canva is really great for GDDs and also for. I will give you a full GDD example. Don't worry. I'm going to be sharing two GDDs from some G2M games here. Okay. Now this is a flow chart. Now you need to know what's in your game, right? What is the flow of the game? Have you ever thought of it? First, what happens as soon as you launch the game, there's a company logo, then there's a splash screen, then there's a main menu. What happens from the main menu? From the main menu, you have play options, how to play, leaderboard, upgrades. All these options are there. And then in the flow chart, you can actually show the entire flow of each screen from the play game. Then you start the game. How do you end the game? You end with a new high score, or you end with game over screen. From the game over screen, go somewhere else. Then you can even have a pause screen. Imagine you're playing and then you have a pause screen. Where does the pause screen take you? You can restart the game, all that kind of thing. Okay, all that kind of thing is going to be there in your flow chart. So flow chart is very very useful because you are going to forget, everybody's going to forget what, because the idea for how the game flows is only in your head, and after some time you're going to forget, which is why the flow chart for the game is very, very important. Okay, next up you have screenshots. Now you can use screenshots from similar games. If you're making a game which is similar to someone else, or there are some similarities other game, feel free to use screenshots of those games, download them, put them inside your game design document. And later on, what you can do is, once your game is progressing, you can actually replace those screenshots with your own game. And I'll be showing you that. So I'll be showing you a game in which all this stuff has been done. Okay. Next, be concise. Okay. Remember that it's easy to write a shit ton of text, right? But you as designer, you're going to be writing all this text, and the designer and the programmers are going to be reading it, and they're going to go, and they're just going to call you. Like, they're going to just say, hey, listen, I'm not understanding, this is boring, can you please tell me how this works? So you'll have to do more work, right? So which is why you need to, like, whenever I write something, I write it and then I revise it, I read it again, I'm saying, I've used too many words here, let me remove these words. So I make the text shorter and shorter and shorter. This is hard work, guys. Okay, but I'll tell you I'll tell you, all the game designers out there, I'm going to tell you a secret. Don't tell don't tell everyone else. So normally what happens is that starts getting made, and the game designer has to do a lot of work in the beginning, because the game designer has to write the game design document. And so it's possible that you might be working super hard for 1 month, defining the game, writing the documentation, making all these mock-ups and all these things. And at that time, the programmers and artists, they're going to be chilling, because like they don't know what to do, right? They're waiting for you to finish the game design document. And then what's going to happen is that you're going to finish the game design document, and you're going to hand it to them, and then you're going to be like, all right, my job is done, I'm going to chill. And then they have to take your game design document, and then they're going to build the game. Of course, you still have to do work, because you have to play test the game, and you have to monitor the game, but most of your game as a game designer is done. And then you'll be like watching YouTube videos and like scrolling reels on Instagram, but those guys are working, right, on building the game. So that's kind of like how good it is if you make a very good and strong game design document. Okay, also, do not, please don't put these huge massive paragraphs in your game design document. No one likes reading. Okay, make nice bullet points, easy to read bullet points. Okay. Insert pictures and diagrams instead of text if possible, and make sure that you use a readable font. Okay, don't put like some fancy cursive thing that looks cool, but like reading it after 5 minutes people have got a headache. Please don't use that. Like, can you see what you're seeing on the screen right now? Right, I'm not using a paragraph, I'm using bullet points. With bullet points, you can read one, and then you can digest it, and you read another one, and you digest it again. Okay, use a readable font and good formatting. Okay. Next, remember that a game design document has to be super, super detailed. It has to have everything. So, what principle should you use? Imagine that you are going to make this. Imagine you have a game in your head. Okay, so I'll tell you the basic overall funda of what a game designer does. Okay, the game is already ready in the game designer's head. It's ready. Like, the game designer is already playing it. He understands the game. He understands the universe. She understands the entire universe of the game. It's already here. The game is ready in your head. Now you have to transfer that understanding and knowledge to everybody else. You have to put it into a documentation, into a document, and it has to be super detailed. Everything has to be there. Every small detail has to be there. Imagine that you're going to hand over the documents, and you're going to go to the Himalayas to meditate for 3 months or 6 months, and they have to make the game without asking you a single word. So that's how you have to write the document. That's how detailed it needs to be. Okay. So here's a hack. Here's a game design hack, right? Most people don't do this. Most game designers don't do this, and they suffer because of this. So what you do is that you do a mental walkthrough. Just sit down, okay? Just sit down and just be like, I'm playing the game. I'm playing the game. I'm playing the game. The game is happening in my head. I'm going to do this, and then this is going to happen, and this is going to happen. And then you're seeing everything. You're seeing the interface, you're seeing the gameplay, you're feeling the game, you're playing the game. It's happening to you right now in your head. Okay. And when you do that, then you'll be able to see, oh, I didn't think of this. I didn't think of that. What about this? What about that? What about that? That's how you have to think as a game designer, right? Now, I have a concept called pie, not the eating pie, but it's called pre iteration estimate. Now, what does that mean? It means that, say, suppose you have a character that is going to have a jump. Okay. So, now, before when you're making the document, you don't really know how high the jump should be. So you put in a pre-iteration estimate. You say, okay, imagine if I hit the space bar, the character is going to jump 10 pixels high. You just put something approximately. It's possible that when you start building the game, you find that jump is too low and you need to go to 20 pixels or 25 pixels, right? So you have to, so that's a, put in some numbers, right? But realize that the numbers that you're putting in your game design document may be wrong. Okay. Par, do you need to be an artistic person, an art guy to be a game designer? No, I'm a game designer. I'm not an artist. I understand art. I like art. I appreciate art. I know how to run an art team, but I am not an artist myself. I'm a terrible artist. I could be a good artist if I practiced in my life, but I chose to not be an artist. So I understand art, but you don't have to have art skills. Okay. Next. And remember that a game design document is not something that you create in the beginning. You have to keep adding details to the game design document during development. A good designer will always add, if they build something new, if they do something new in the game, they will always put it in the game design document. Because see, you don't know how long the game is going to last, the development. You don't know who's going to join your team, right? And the game design document is the frame, is a reference that everyone uses. So always update your game design document. Okay. And always put a revision history. I'll show you how that works as well. Okay. Lastly, a game design document should be customized. Every game and every single team is different. You have to see. Now, here's another hack which I'm going to tell you, but people don't realize, is that a game design document is not for you, it's for other people, right? So it has to be for them. If you have a certain style of making a game design document and it doesn't work for other people, then your game design document is completely useless. So you have to look at your team. You have to understand your team, the designers, the artists, the programmers, and see how they understand. Okay. And you have to make a game design document according to them and not according to yourself. Okay. Now, remember, functionality is more important than beauty. It should look nice, it should be nicely formatted, but the functionality of the document is more important than beauty. Okay. Some people prefer flowcharts, some prefer tables. So make your design doc customized. Okay. And templates. I know a lot of people are asking for templates, but I would not recommend using templates. Like, look at this, look at the examples I'll show you, and then you can make a document by yourself. Okay. What do you put inside a game design document? Everything. It's true. Everything. Everything about your game, man. Everything. The story, the process, the thought process, diagrams, controls, numbers, references, screenshots, diagram, yada yada, everything, everything. Okay. And I'll show you now what I mean by that. Okay. Next up, sharing and teamwork. Very, very important. Right. Now, how do you make it? Or in the olden days, of course, people would just like, and I see my days, you just make like a Word document. I'm sure people have like actually typed out game design documents, but Google Docs are awesome, right? So Google Documents are absolutely fantastic because you can just create a Google Doc, you can kind of make it a private document, you can share it among your team, you can update it. It's beautiful. Like, you know what is new, what updates are there. Google Docs are absolutely a very, very practical way of making a game design document, right? You can also use something like Miro for collaboration, for diagrams, for explaining things to people, right? Also Trello. Now, if you're going to be sharing design documents or doing team planning, Trello is a great tool, okay? Or just Google Sheets. Okay. All right. So I guess that is the end of the I guess that's at the end of the slideshow. Now, what I'm going to do is I'm going to actually show you some very cool documents. Okay. Hang on a second. All right. So I'm going to show you to start with, I'm going to show you a game design document, and then I'm going to show you some more stuff. So in the meantime, okay, let me answer some questions. Game should be made in a different style like Borderland, Doomsday, maybe Life is Strange. Thank you for making those classes for this help me out. Okay. No question in there, but okay. All right. So what I'm going to show you guys now is the game design document from a student game called Supercharged. Supercharged is a game. So many of you may have heard of it. It's a game that is being made in the Unreal Engine from Bravo batch of Gamer to Maker. This is a game which has actually become a full-on commercial project. It's already on Steam. The game is developed. The game even went to Gamescom. They showed the game to everybody. Some really cool people have played this game. So let me share my screen. Yeah. Can you guys see my screen now? Let me just increase the size a little bit. Okay. So this is Supercharged. And if you're interested, just Google Supercharged, just find the trailer. You'll be able to actually go have a look at this game, have the trailer, and actually go on their Steam page and wish lists as well. So Supercharged, firstly, here's a team. Here are the people who are in the game. Next, game overview. So a really brief overview of what the game is, right? So basically, Supercharged is a 3D platformal puzzle adventure game. Okay, I'll show you the trailer also soon. Now, what is the target audience is very important because you need to know who you are building the game for. Okay, who are your target players? Who is going to do it? So the target audience for Supercharged consists of young to middle-aged gamers who enjoy challenging gameplay, strategy thinking, innovative game mechanics. So a very good explanation. Next, explain the genre of the game. Okay. Next, as you can see, there is a game flow summary, right? What exactly happens in the game? Manas is asking, sir, about 4 months left. After that, my 12th class will be over. Then what I should do to get in this field? There are many people who are actually joining the Gamer to Maker program. You're most welcome. You can join the game design program. You can be doing college. You should go to college, ideally, some college somewhere. Go to a college, do your graduation, and side by side, you can do the Gamer to Maker programs. Okay. So this is the game flow summary. And then very importantly, look and feel. How does the game look? How does the game feel? Okay. Now, as you can see, they have taken screenshots of the actual game and they've put it inside here, right? So there's some screenshots which gives you a look of how the game looks and feels. Art direction, the art focus on a cartoonish and vibrant aesthetics. Okay, very clearly explained, unique visual features, and as you can see, the lights, it's like dark but bright at the same time. It's a very unique art style that Supercharged has, and there's a lot of neon for things that you need to draw attention to. Okay, so all that stuff is explained over here. Then now let's get into the gameplay. What is the gameplay and what are the objectives? main objectives, puzzle and obstacle objective, resource management objective, etc., etc. Then they're talking about the game progression. What is game progression? Game progression is how do you progress in the game? How is the difficulty map? Because if you keep playing the same thing all the time, it's going to get super boring, right? So the game progression is how does the game get better? Okay, very important. Experience duration. How long is the first level? How long is the second level? How long the third level? Right? They've actually talked about how long they're going to make each level. Also, here's the core loop of the game, which is what do the players keep doing repetitively? Shoot walls, platforms, get ammo for wall running, progress in the level. Okay. Next, play flow. How does the play flow start? You play new game, the game starts with title screen, etc. This is a really, remember when I told you detail? This is detail. This is crazy detail. Okay. Level 2, level 3, what happens in each level? This is a level of explanation that you have to put into a thing. Next up, mission challenge structure. Okay, so what is the first thing? First thing is find the gun, avoid enemies, solve puzzles, manage resources, right? Then if you have puzzles, you say, okay, I'm going to have puzzles in my game. You have to actually explain that stuff. How do the puzzles actually work? Okay, so now they're explaining the puzzle structure, explaining the game mechanics, right? Health, damage, checkpoints, ammo, gun mechanics, temporary walls and floors, player abilities, enemies, ammo refill, restart from checkpoint, right? Then let's talk about the game world. What is the game world? The game is set in a virtual reality world that resembles a common computer lab, right? So, what are the interactive objects? And then talking about the game assets, environmental hazards, some a brief about the level design. Okay. And next, the physics. There's actually a physics system, which is very cool. And here, the physics system is explained very, very clean. Okay. Yes, it's a completely unique design, right? Supercharge is a completely fresh and new design by the students of Gamer to Maker, right? They are given mentorship for design, art, programming. So believe it or not, there are actually three game studios which have been formed in Gamer to Maker, right? People who want to make games, they come together, and then in Gamer to Maker, they own their own game. They're able to build their own games, right? And they are able to actually make games completely from scratch, and they are the owners of these games, right? And there is the ammo economy, the character movement, objects, actions. Yes, Manas, it's super deep. This is what a game design document look like, right? How many pages are we there till now? Wow, I don't know, many. All right, and now you can see some sketches, right? So this is the first sketch which was made by the artist, and then on the basis that this is the actual 3D model of the gun which was created. And so this was the sketch, this was a 3D model, and this is how that gun looks in the game. Isn't this cool? So this is how it works, right? You just come up with an idea in your head, and then someone makes a 3D model, and then you import that 3D model into the game. Boom, right? I think it's so cool. Then, of course, you have health management, screen flow, main menu, etc., etc., etc. Okay. Now, story and narrative. Very, very important that you have to actually, if you have a story, all games don't have a story, but this game has a story, and the story and narrative is actually implemented here. Um, Drumil is asking, should the GT include the alternative ideas that you have for the game but not going as of now? Just you can actually put the alternative ideas as well if you want. Okay, that's a good idea. So story and the narrative, backstory, plot elements, game story progression, how the game story progresses, and then of course talking about the game world, what levels use it, the characters. Okay, now this is also very important because some of you may have noticed that we teach character design also in Game to Maker. In fact, you'll find the character design masterclass in the live sessions as well. So the character of the game also needs to be designed. So they've used these principles to actually design the character from scratch. Okay, the abilities of the character, and here they're also using artificial intelligence. In Unreal. So this is how they're explaining how AI is used in as an opponent, as the enemy. Okay, this is all very cool stuff. And then, of course, they're talking about the levels, right? See, can you see, guys? This is 37 pages till now. Okay, this is 37 pages, and the game design document, the game design document, and not finished. So there's a level design document is, for example, from here, right? So, for example, you talk the level design document is just this part. You can create it a separate document, but this is part of the main design document. Okay, so this is a diagram map of the first level, what you have to do, etc., etc. Okay. Then, of course, this is a flow chart. Remember, I told you about the flow chart of the game. Let me just zoom this a little bit more. Right. This is the flow chart of the game: main, new game, continue, load game, setting, credit. Everything about the game is explained over here. Now you can see the actual screens for the initial game, what the menu is going to look like, right? I think they've updated the settings menu. This is a settings menu, which is a separate menu from the main menu, right? Then here you have the graphic settings. So in the game, they have a separate setting for the graphics. And here you are. You can actually choose the resolution of your game, texture quality, shadow quality, of texture quality, everything. Okay. Next, you have the main settings of the game. You have, mouse input, everything is over here. Then you have the pause menu, right? So now you guys are understanding, I think, what I mean by detail, right? This is detail. There's a main menu diagram, and then there's a pause menu. There's a whole diagram just explaining the pause menu. Okay. Right. Now, of course, this is updated again. Then sound settings, right? Then you have settings, you have the loading screen, etc. And then, of course, some common questions. What is the game? Why create this game? Etc. Etc. Okay. So that is that. So I hope you guys like that. So once again, you can you can actually go and see this game on Steam. So what I'll do is I'll quickly show you another screen which is there from this game itself. And they have actually created a project page for this. Okay, now this is very, very cool. So can you guys see? This is the project page, right? This is kind of as a portfolio. This is the actual portfolio of Adi, who is a lead designer of this project. Okay, here you can see you have a trailer. Let's look at the trailer. You guys can probably not hear the sound, but yeah, even I can't hear the sound, but it's there. You guys can see this trail later. Okay, here is a Steam page. You can actually connect here. You actually go to the Steam page, right? And here you have the alpha trailer. You have about game. You have everything over here. You can see the game. At IGDC and other places, they actually got a booth last year. Some screenshots of the game, and this is all about Adi. He's talking about his role, etc. So Adi is actually, he joined Game Maker as, of course, a student, but now he's actually a mentor. He teaches Unreal in Game Maker. He's pretty amazing. So if you join G2M, Adi, the guy made this, is going to be your mentor for Unreal, which is super cool. Like, he's an amazing teacher, really, really good. Okay. So yeah, so he's talking about the different things. He thinking about the lead developer. He's talking about the system design that he did, and he's talking about the game design, and yeah. This is, as you can tell, this is all the detail of the game, right? It can, like, he's done project management. He's talked about each and every aspect of the game. So if you guys are interested in knowing about a game, you can actually follow this game development, right? You can see what's happening. And by the way, there's even a level design masterclass which is live on YouTube, which is going to be done by Adi continuously. It's all there. Okay. Now I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to quickly show you guys a concept document because some of you are asking for it, right? So just give me 1 minute. Till then, you can ask questions. You can go on. You can ask questions. So I'll show you. I had made a game a long time ago. My first game I had made in a small team, and I'll show you what the concept document looks like. Okay, so you have some idea. I'll just zoom it in a little more. So this is a game called Star Trail. It was originally called Star Miner. So high concept, right? What is the high concept of the game? It's a free flyer for mobile devices where you play as an alien flying ship. Okay. Then gameplay. Very simple explanation of what is the gameplay. Okay. And then boosts, and then you have upgrades, art styles, monetization, competitive analysis. Can you see one page? That's it. This is just one simple page. I'll show you the whole thing. That's it. That is a concept document. Okay. Now let me see if I can find the game design document for this one. Then you'll have a kind of an idea of the game design document. Oh yeah, here it is. But keep in mind, this is a very small game. Okay, it's not a big game. It's a very small game, and so that was the concept document, and I'll show you the game design document for that. Okay, this is the game design document. Okay, now as you can see, there is a revision history, there is an engine, introduction, fiction, storyline, gameplay. We now explaining the puzzles. Like, remember I said there's a puzzle. It's called the Uno mechanic, which I call it. So this is kind of like, remember I told you that we're going to put some p iteration estimates, the power up combos. Here I'm talking about the health bar a little bit, the points table, currency, item store, the different boosts that you get in the main. Here I'm talking about the game flow, etc. Here I have a mock-up. Okay, and that's it. Because remember, this was a very small game. So the game design document was 5 pages, right? It was just 5 pages, and that's it. Okay. Okay, let's see some questions here. Uh, why why does India not making game dev college? I don't understand. Like, why are there no game dev colleges in India? Is that the question? I don't understand the question. For a story-based game, would variation in the game loop also mention? Oh, look, the whole when it comes to story-based games, that's a whole separate topic together. Okay, so I'm not going to get into that whole topic because this is basically. Um, so smoke pack superchat GD is public or private to have a look at, or will you only see the part you have shared? You'll only see what's shared in the live stream. Okay, it's not public because you know it's someone's game. But Adi was nice enough to allow me to show the document here, so you can see whatever you've seen here, and that's it. Okay, so questions. I'd be happy to take some questions now. Okay, so somebody's asking, why is India not making game design colleges? See, I'll tell you. If the question is why are there no game design colleges? There are game design colleges, but the problem is that they don't know how to teach. They don't have the knowledge of how to teach, and they are lazy. I'll tell you a little bit about myself. So I myself, I'm not originally a game designer. I used to be in the merchant navy, right? And then what happened is I wanted to learn game design. So I went abroad. I went to Vancouver Film School, and that's where I studied game design. Now, this was very expensive. Okay, it cost me like 50 lakhs, crore rupees to actually do this. But what I learned in Vancouver Film School was amazing. In that 1 year, I learned so many things. I understood the teaching methodology of how they're doing in the West. And then when I started Gamer to Maker, I brought that teaching methodologies here. And I'll tell you why the teaching methodology is very good abroad and it's not good here, right? You're seeing a game right now. You saw a game Supercharged, which was created by students. Now, what game colleges do in India is that firstly, the people who teach at these game colleges are just some random people. There are some kids who just done little bit of Unity. Maybe they've got like 6 months, 7 months, 1 year experience, and then they are called to become your instructors. So obviously, you're learning from someone who doesn't know much. If someone doesn't know much, how can they teach you? That's the first problem. Second problem is methodology. The way to really make games is to make it in a group, right? So to teach you, the basic funda at Gamer to Maker is that the only way to learn how to make video games is to actually make them. So if I want to teach you game making, am I just going to give you some theory classes? I can get all the topics in the world. I can Google all the game design topics and I can give you lectures, theory. You'll have tons and tons of theory in your head. You can go and read. See these books. See all these books I have here? You can read all of them. This is a very nice book, right? Fundamentals of Game Design. You can see this book here. Very nice book. You can buy it. You can go right now. How expensive? It's a pretty expensive book. But you can buy it and you can learn. You can read the whole thing. You'll know all the fundamentals of game design. Are you a game designer? No. You're a game designer when you build a game. Practical knowledge, guys. Practical knowledge. You have to do it, right? This is why my teaching methodology in Gamer to Make is different because our players actually make games. They get experience of building games, practical knowledge, not just theory bullshit. And the colleges in India, they can't do that. They don't even have a game project. Sometimes when their students make games by themselves, they'll say, "Ore, our student made this game." They didn't even support the student, they didn't help the student. But once the student make the game, then they claim that game. Oh, see, our student made this game. But it's bullshit, right? I know, right? I got this for free, by the way, at Vancouver Film School. So yeah, when you pay 50 lakhs to someone for a program, you get awesome free shit. Also, this one, like Rules of Play, also a very cool game, right? You get, you know, lots of cool free shit. Yeah, you can buy it on EMI, right? Right. Crazy. Okay, couple saying I want to be a game designer starting from scratch, but this is my 12th. I wanted to ask when to enroll after board exams. You can join anytime, right? Yeah, I would say finish your board exams, man. You don't want to flunk your board exams. Focus on your board exams, finish your board exams, and after you've done your board exams, then you give me a call and then we will evaluate. We also feel like we don't just take people randomly just because people want to join. We don't accept them because we want good people. We don't want faltu people who are not going to do the work. I want that when people join G2M and they leave G2M, they go to a company, people should say, wow, you're from G2M, that's awesome. Here's an interview. I want only good quality, dedicated, talented people. Okay. It doesn't matter if you don't know anything. We'll teach you from scratch. But it's not about skills, it's about attitude. If you have the right attitude, you can build the skills, you can learn, you can become really, really good if you have the right attitude. But if you have the attitude, chalta hai attitude, you don't want to work hard, you don't want to do this stuff, then chill, bro. You can go to Udemy, you can go to all these random colleges here and there, and you're most welcome to join there, right? Okay. All right, guys. I guess that's it. I'm going to. Today, I have to go to IIT again for 3 days. So, I've been invited as visiting faculty at IIT Hyderabad, and I'm going there tonight. I'll be there for next 1 or 2 days. So, hopefully, if you follow me on Instagram. Oh, by the way, guys, everybody, follow this channel right now because I'm going to be doing a lot more of this. I'm going to be doing a lot more of this Sunday every Sunday. We are going to have a live stream. It is going to be on design, it's going to be art, programming, narrative design, something. Oh, also let me know what topics you want. Okay, so right now, put put if whatever topic you want, right, for master classes, put that topic in the chat right here, and me and my team, we will have a look at that stuff, and we will make sure that we actually create, because I want to know what you guys want to know. Put that in the topic. Okay, is NID Bangalore good for game design? They have a course. NID Bangalore is okay, like they are fancy, but they don't teach you practical stuff, right? Again, it's very theory based. If you want to become a professor of game design, well, then you can join NID. They don't teach you practical real game design that's going to help you to get a job. Okay, if you G2, if G2M is expensive, well, try being unemployed. That's also very expensive. you know Game design portfolio masterclass will be useful. Game mechanics. um Kritik Chakravarti, what's your opinion on video game as research academia apart from? Yes, of course, definitely. It's very good. You can choose it as a career. Only thing is, like, people who are in academia have no practical knowledge of game design. They understand like the theoretical thing. So if you want to teach game design, then first be a game designer. Like, learn that, do that shit, make a few games. Whether they fail or succeed, no, like, get your hands dirty, understand the subject, experience a subject. Don't just learn from person A and then start teaching person B and C, right? Like, that doesn't make any sense. Okay, so thanks everyone. Have a happy Sunday, and I will see you next week on Sunday. All the links for Gamer to Maker and everything are also, follow me on Instagram as well. You get lots of cool memes and shit there. Thank you. Have a good Sunday. Let's go.